Angry Testy. Educational.
Alright, stream. We're gonna do an educational support, or I'm gonna try. So win or lose, I'm gonna upload this game as an educational support for you all eventually. So let's get our big support muscles out and carry this team. Now, there's a lot of different supports you can pick at the start of the game. Generally, people pick something like a Luna or Glacius because they're very strong laners. Glacius synergizes with killing a little better. In this particular game, I have a Chronos. So there is another strong support that isn't really picked as much as the other supports. And there's a reason for that. He can't kill as early. Actually, I may not pick him. I'll probably pick... Alright, let's just go Voodoo anyway. Because you usually don't kill things as easily with Voodoo early on as you do with something like Glacius or a Luna. Now, yes, education. So, as you can see, we have pretty decent lanes here. Geo Plague is quite strong. They could probably mess up these guys' farm quite a bit. Voodoo Jester Chronos isn't super strong, but the reason why I picked Voodoo Jester in particular this game, rather than something like a Luna or whoops, these are not support items. That's just my standard mid stuff. So the first thing I'm gonna do is upgrade the courier. Gonna buy a health pot and two.
Tessie kind of slow out of the pool today.
Nah, don't worry about it. Anyway, did you get 2 wards? No, you got 1. Cheapskate.
No, you got 1. Just 1 for the pool.
Alright, that's fine. Geo has 100 gold on him. He can get... Oh, nah. He probably shouldn't. Alright. So... Alright. So where was I? The first thing I'm going to do is... As you can see, I buy 2 minor totems, a Blightstone, a health potion, and... If your suicide needs some help, you can buy a ward as well, but...
didn't crash.
I would prefer to buy 2 clarities. So... Yeah. So right now I'm going to mute everyone, even though I don't need to, but whatever. So one thing you can do as support, since you're not focused on CSing, you're often focused on either stacking, roaming, or whatever. Voodoo isn't the best roamer.
Just a handicap.
Voodoo isn't the best roamer early because he doesn't have a lot of nice burst damage. So for instance, a very good roamer would be something like Andromeda. Even something like Blitz is an excellent roamer as well. Magnus. Plague Rider, things with good stuns. Plague Rider's not a great roamer, but he is fast and he does have a decent slow. So he gets between places faster. So the first thing you should do right away... Sorry, I moved courier. Even though we didn't do it this game, what you should do right away is always move out of the base ASAP. You should do this especially as a suicide. But especially as support as well, to secure this area so that they don't get farmed. Now, Chronos is a safe hero with an escape. He could go up to scout and definitely not die. Now, suicides these days often start around, you know, they hide somewhere here so that they could pull the lane to this point. And what that does is give them a little extra experience advantage. Because these 4 creeps will die, but then they can deny creeps that you can't get to, which is a really big hassle. So if you're support, one of the big things you want to do against suicides these days is look for them aggressively with the person going to lane with you. And you'll look in all the standard juke spots, but if the faster you run out of the base, the less likely they're going to get to the spot they want to get to. So that is very important against suicides these days, is not to mess around in the fountain at all. That's very important. It can cost you the game from the get-go if you don't do this. Because it just makes them that much stronger, right? So we can see there's nothing coming here. And depending on what we're against, we may not be able to farm that well, we may be able to, we'll see. I could have picked a stronger laner, something that can kill more easily, because right now, as you can see, Cask doesn't do damage. And your Maledict, or Cursed Ground, is not very strong until level 5. And even then it's pretty weak, but as soon as it gets to level 7, it's very, very strong. So, first thing I'm going to do is work on denying. Now, he probably needs a little help. I'm going to check the pole first. He should be okay for now. Alright, so we're going to stack. Because right now, this will help us deny experience. I'm going to scout a little bit. So we're going to try and stack here. Very standard stuff so far. Now, I have, just because I'm not trading Harass right now, he's alone. But I can hand him off regen. As you can see, we did get the stack. I'm going to pull this stack. I'll come help you after. So as you can see, we did upgrade the courier. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check his, I'm going to check Soul Stealer's money, just to make sure I can use the courier. Since it's not close to 600, I do feel comfortable taking the courier right now because it is upgraded. I don't feel I'm going to be a detriment to him. Now here we're missing the creeps, but it's alright. Now we really want to try and deny that out of their range. Unfortunately, they're going to get it. I'm going to hit this once. Damn, I shouldn't have. So I had to hit that one there. So right now we have a slight experience advantage. I'm going to start helping him in lane. If he needs any regen at all, I'm going to help him out. So as you can see, the first thing I do when I trade Harass, I'm going to eat a Blightstone. This is something that a lot of supports don't do. They really should.
First of many.
And I want to trade more Harass while that Blightstone is in use. Thing is, because they do have a little bit of a strong combo, it's not like a very good combo or anything, but it's okay because Glacius does have 2 nukes. I'm gonna check to make sure to see if he has his aura. He does not have his aura. Alright, our HP is a little low here, so we're not gonna tempt fate and get destroyed. Glacius is going into a poor position, but I don't feel we can capitalize. Oh, we can kill this guy. My game freezes on the first cast, unfortunately, so that looked a little weird. For me, at least, I couldn't see what was going on after I threw my cask. So, we were able to pick up a kill there because Glacius didn't stay full HP. That's something you really, really need to do as a support in your lane. Is stay full HP, because they're gonna look to go on you at the first chance they get. He got out of position, we killed him instantly. That's just a big mistake by him. But a lot of people do that. A ton of people do that. I cannot even express how many people do that all the time. So here I'm gonna try and pull. Even though it's a single pull, it's just to get an extra level advantage. Right, like nice and quickly. It's gonna push our lane again, but we can make up for that. Now, if I'm remotely good, I'll pull this to this as well to deny more experience. But mid is heading top right now, so we'll see. Now, as you can see, I did buy the extra regen early, so I still have regen. And I don't need to use anything yet, and I can still give this guy regen. Because I missed some creeps, I don't have boots early on, the creeps here. Now, right now we have 1 ward in the shop, we have 2 wards here, still blocking the pull, still giving Rune Vision. I'm gonna tell you my next objective when it comes, but for now I'm just gonna try and get a little bit of a level advantage. Now, top is missing, or not top, Glacius is missing, but Thunderbringer is also missing. Now here we were able to pull correctly. However, there is a CD that may want to stop that. So instead of a ward, I'm going to buy regen for now. They're down here getting this now though, so I'm going to throw a cask and see if he bounces to that creep. And it did, so that's alright. We got the big Minotaur. They did not. I'm gonna give Kronos a little bit of regen for now.
Curse upon you! I will sacrifice.
Now I'm gonna wait to stack that camp. Alright, so as you can see, CD is out of mana. Toss me those tangos back now. I need to be full HP. Alright. We can go on Glacius when I get a little higher. We might be able to go up. No, Glacius out of position, he's dead. So, anyway. One of the big reasons why... Okay, his... Oh, my bad, I shouldn't have did that. Okay. Now, here you can see we have 2 wards being bought. That's by me. Now this is our huge objective. This is why I often don't gank the safe lane, because I assume supports, as soon as they get an advantage like this, and they often do, trust me. When I'm playing, supports often have a huge advantage from the safe lane. So, one of the things they should do immediately, now I didn't necessarily need to place that now, but I did, is they need to secure the farm for the carry. And a lot of people don't do that, but I assume that a lot of people do when they're up in kills, right? Because that's what they should be doing.
Massacre.
So this is the big thing that I always ask for, that I think is an extremely easy thing to do, but a lot of people just don't do it. And I'm like, excuse me, why aren't you doing that? So this is the hugest thing. We're gonna wait until nighttime before we place this ward up top. You're level 6, let's kill him. I'm going on CD. You can... Oh no! That was terrible by me. Sorry. Well, those 2 attacks wouldn't have killed him at least, but he didn't have Alright. I'm gonna buy you a bunch of regen. If he comes up, we'll kill him, but not in tower range. So as soon as this lane gets pushed is when I'm gonna wait to place this lane ward. Oh shit! Don't want to block him. And I'm gonna take courier so I can heal up Kronos. So here I'm buying a whole ton of regen while I stack.
At your service.
So this is like super easy standard stuff that I feel is very, very simple.
I do as you say.
Anyway, one of the reasons why I picked Voodoo Jester in particular, he's a little underpicked. People don't pick him as much as they could. They pick a lot of things like Rhapsody, who is a great support. Rhapsody, Aluna, Glacius, you know, very standard, easy to use supports. So here, I'm probably gonna die for this, but it's okay. Yeah, I don't mind dying for that. I thought if we could have gotten more mana on Kronos earlier, he could use a Chronosphere, but I already knew we didn't have enough mana for that, but that's alright. dying there is totally acceptable trade for the 2 kills. I could have bailed out a little earlier to live. But yeah.
What ails you?
So here, I'm gonna buy the next award. Plague Rider could help us at this point, and
Demons
we
being
could
driven.
make more things happen. Now here is a little bit tricky. There's not a lot for me to do in the jungle. There's no stacking to be had. I don't need to support Kronos anymore. He's very self-sufficient.
I got the treatment.
I could give him a clarity potion. That would be nice. But right now, the only thing for me to do right now is soak up the available experience down bottom. I can't set up any
What
ganks that are reliable. 3 top. I'm gonna get back to top soon.
more patience.
Now, here I shouldn't really be buying a power supply this early, but I'm going to just for item management. It's not gonna hurt us that much. I should be getting my steam boots. Now I could go Striders as well, but I prefer something like steam boots on Voodoo, who has to sit still to use his ultimate.
The doctor
Um,
is in.
But I'm gonna use power supply. They're all top pretty much. So see, since we have that good vision up top, we know they're all top. People will often do that later on to counter the carry, to try and slow the carry down or whatever. But by that time, it's often it's just too late, really.
Demons.
The damage is already done. Did you just backtrack that?
Piece of cake.
Oh. Yeah, so there I was getting into a pretty dangerous position that I don't want to be in.
I've got the treatment.
So yeah.
I will sacrifice.
Yeah, they just had better positioning on
What
us.
ails you?
I'm gonna come murder this guy in a second. I'm gonna kill Glacius. You can kill someone else, or you can kill Glacius. Here.
More patience.
I could have used my my Maledicts. I could have leveled it up there. So right now, despite me saying it's really easy, I've made a couple mistakes here.
Si, si, senor.
But for the most part, we've done our main job,
Service.
which is securing the farm of the carry. Now here, we place this ward, so it's almost running out. We'll get a counter ward at this point in the game. We don't necessarily need to, but we'll check it out, right?
The doctor is in.
So we get a counter ward. We'll place it where it can see more than one
I
ward
will
location,
sacrifice.
and we'll counter their ward right up here. So, unfortunately, we placed this ward, so now they know we have it. However, it is on our side of the map. So if I, as the support, I can see where they're going. Like that's a big thing support should be doing, because the carry is very focused on farming and whatnot. I should be calling out where the enemy is and where they're going. It's a really good thing that really good supports will do. The only support I can remember really doing it though is if you guys remember SK Beat is. That's one thing that I really valued with him when he drafted and played support for us. When we played on Team Easy, that was me, Chu, Semi-Ju, and whatnot. When he drafted for us, we actually beat Fnatic every single time. But when Chu drafted for us, we lost to Fnatic every single time. So, despite Chu being one of the best players of all time, so here, I figured he would do that. So we got the juke on him there. I would have liked to cast my stuff on someone else, but it really wasn't feasible. So at this point, rather than this, in this particular game, we can see that Striders probably would have paid off. I could make more trips back to base, even though even supports necessarily shouldn't be making trips back to base that much. if you have the choice to do it between, you know, the support or the carry, it should be the support. So as you can see, that's a big weakness of Voodoo Jester, which is another reason why he's not picked as often. But my ultimate does work amazingly with Chronos ultimate. I haven't gotten to do the combo yet, but if I get a lot of farm at some point in this game, you know, it'll be pretty fucking great. And Plague Rider is kind of getting out of position. He's kind of baiting. But there you go. So we got our Maledict on a bunch of people. Plague got his ult on a bunch of people.
Too easy. Ultimate warrior.
And Armadon, we're attacking his butt. So that worked really well for us there. Now there I didn't need to use my power supply since I'm probably going to make another trip back to base. But I used it just because I'm stupid. And there, in times when you make your trip back to base, you shouldn't use your power supply. You should save it for a better time. And it'll come in handy very often in team fights. So that is another mistake that I can point out. But since I realized this mistake, like this is just something I'm doing, I think more because I'm talking than focusing on the game itself. That's my personal excuse. But yeah, I am my own harshest critic, and that's, I think, a good thing. So here, as you can see, we don't have Striders, so we're not going back to base as fast as we'd like to. So I could have went something like Striders and maybe Push Tablet or Astrolabe. Though Voodoos really like to build a Staff of the Master, and I'm not gonna say don't get it. I'm gonna get one at some point. It's pretty amazing. But yeah. So here, just regenning.
Piece of cake. Kiss my ass.
10 seconds on Chronos ultimate. Unfortunately, we didn't have money for him to have any regen. I'm getting out of his getting out of his experience range now.
One of your structures is under attack.
As you can see, Soul Stealer is clearing the jungle. Not a lot for me to stack right now.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn
And the people
tower.
are just in a position around the map. I don't think I have it blocked right now. Good, I don't. So I'm just moving with the enemy team so that I can combo with anyone who chooses to teleport in. Be really careful because they were 4 mid. So right there I'm just telling Soul Stealer to be careful because they might come up into the jungle. They're all gonna go bot. Now here, we have really great ward vision. One of the few times where I don't need to buy a ward immediately. I could buy a TP or something, but my main goal here is to get another ward. So while you're playing support, you should have like a general sense of when the wards are gonna fall by themselves. But if you don't, you know, it's okay to check them because they do have a timer that shows you. So here we have plenty of mana. I don't mind using a bit of it to speed up farming. So yeah.
One of your structures is under attack. Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
I'm gonna run up this way. I'm gonna watch their heroes to see if they react. Because if they react, I could bait them and waste a bit of their time, but apparently they're not reacting, so yeah. So here I'm actually going to build an Astro, even though a push stick is great. They have that warded. I'm going to counter ward that. So we got chased out of this fight a little bit. So I'm not gonna run in and die to their AoE, because I really can't. So I'm gonna go back to base and TP. Oh, nope.
5 kills, stud.
Oh shit. Well, let's kill him.
Double tap.
I cancelled my Maledict cast there. So as you can see, I got pushed out of that fight early. Did what I could, but it wasn't as much as I'd like to do. Okay, so here we have wards on us. Our ward vision has fallen around the map. I might want to cancel this ward since I do have 2 on me. Just pick up my Astro. I don't necessarily need to go Astro. I didn't check Plague Rider's items to see if he was getting one. He clearly doesn't have one though, so it's alright. So I'm gonna get this counter ward up, even though, just so that they don't have vision here.
I've got the treatment.
So since I have some extra money, and I did get pushed out of the last fight, I'm actually gonna buy a health bot. This might just help me, like, bait a couple spells and then get into the fight later. They're gonna come top. I do have an Astrolabe now too, so we can fight a little better. Now, it's good to start hiding in trees, especially as Voodoo Jester. I could maybe go up a little closer, though this might bite me in the ass. So going there initially was probably the safer bet. Here, I could even place a ward just for the team. Yeah, alright. Alright, gentlemen. Now, we didn't need this necessarily, but they're trying to force fights a lot, so it's alright to place a ward if you think it's going to help your positioning for team. Well, I don't want to use that on that guy.
One of your structures is under double tap. Massacre.
So there. This is actually a very poor use of skills. I should have saved my Maledict rather than using it on someone who's dying there. I have a stun in 1 second. There.
One of your structures is under attack.
Now there, I'm not really in a position to chase Armadon here. I'm gonna come over and just provide Astrolabe and maybe a stun. Yep. Just so that his back doesn't do that. Oh, JK.
Haste. Retribution.
Right. So I'm gonna put a ward here so that it sees them coming into our jungle and whatnot.
No mana.
So here, what I can change this game, generally the team fights other than the last one, there's been a mistake up here where I didn't auto attack CD. He wasn't gonna die if I did. There was a mistake down, I don't think there was, a mistake down there where I cancelled and my Cursed Ground. And the other mistake in that team fight was using my Maledict on Glacius. He was already dead. Which is Cursed Ground again, sorry. Now here I'm not going to buy a TP, I'm just going to walk through the jungle and hope to stack a camp. Don't know if I'll get to one on time. It looks like I should. JK. Attacked the wrong creep anyway, but... Okay, so they're charging up top again, so I can feel free to place another ward. Glacius, or Nymph is TPing right there. So I'm trying to get this ward up fast for a team, and I'm gonna hide somewhere safe. Oh. That guy's dead, but we're just gonna sit back and use our ultimate for the most of this fight anyway. I could have stopped my ultimate and maybe saved Kronos there. I was actually planning to, but he got nuked down. Yeah, I just finished Nymph. We're not gonna chase Armadon too much. We can stay. Nah, we don't need to stay on him. Alright, so the next thing I'm gonna do is buy a push tablet. Now, that's actually something that's very good against Armadon. It's not necessarily as good against CD or anything, but it's very helpful regardless, as long as I use it remotely correctly. So here, we're kind of not leaving ourselves room for a TP. We don't need to TP anywhere. The lanes are being farmed. I personally like to TP just for the extra little bit that it gives you. But everything's being farmed decently. I could have run out of base a little quicker here to get this camp stacked, for sure. Yeah, actually it's already dead. It showed up on my minimap, but it wasn't there. So that's nice to know, that we didn't waste an opportunity. Alright, so there's nothing to stack here at the moment. We haven't had a chance to stack Ancients this game. I might do that soon. There's a dude coming. Can you use your minnow? Use your minnow? Okay, that... Alright, had he been paying attention, we could have killed that guy, pretty sure. So, back to base to heal again. No, I know, I saw you use it in mid, so it's fine. I was asking Kronos to use his Minotaur. So here, I'm kind of stacked on items, so is Plague Rider. I don't need to... Like here I could use some counter wards. I could put something in the stash, like my Major Totem or my Vestments. But here we're doing pretty well for support. We realize all the mistakes we've made so that we try not to do them again in team fights in the future. You'll notice that some supports build some pretty funny items, like they'll say get Codex on Voodoo Jester or something, right? Or they go Lothars, which is a shroud, I should say. But for the most part, you should be building up some build-up items on support heroes, especially when you're against bursty lineups. In this case, Thunderbringer adds some burst, and the rest of them have nukes, so even though they're not the strongest nukes in the game. So I'm going to try and get out of his experience range again. I don't want to take experience from Kronos. I can start doing that when he's level 25, but if he's a very capable carry, the more experience I can give him, the better. So here I'm just chilling out, looking at their position. Everything's being farmed pretty decently. I don't need to run top and absorb that farm yet. Okay. Nah. Using Mojo, saving the Astro since it's a much shorter cooldown. That's a no-brainer. Soul Stealer scouting out. Gonna run along the trees so I have somewhere to hide in case we run into them. Well, they could also be hiding there, but they're probably up here. They're missing, like that guy's alone. Yeah, right now I should just get a TP. Get a TP and start buying my push tablet. And that's something support should really do as well, that I didn't do there. They should really pay attention to this, the little CS that they can get, and make the most of it. I did not do that there, I missed a CS. It's not really acceptable, in my eyes at least.
Bow down. Damn, I'm too easy.
And right now they're just crushing, so they don't even need me right now. I didn't have a TP to get up there, but we have one now. Hell yeah.
I will service.
So I want him to use his Thunderbolt, and then I want to cask, but it's not doing it.
At your service.
So here I have, you know, the option of smacking him using my Mojo or using Spirit Ward. Now I should just maybe smack him, but if he runs down, he's gonna live. If he runs to this way and up, he's probably gonna live as well. So we'll see. I do have a little move speed advantage on him though, but I need to see what he does. If he casts Lightning Bolt on me, I can immediately ultimate afterwards. If not, I'm going to start ulting and then he's going to cast Lightning Bolt, and depending on when he casts it, he will live or die. He will mini stun you, of course, yes, I know.
Let's get it on.
So he already used it.
Onslaught.
Cool down.
So we're gonna net 2 kills right there. Hooray, good for us.
Nemesis.
I'm gonna TP out of here in case Nymph has her TP up.
I've got the... Si, senor.
We should have put that in our stash so that we didn't have to waste courier time. Now see, with these kind of items, we are a little...
The doctor is in.
I don't really want to sell any of these items because they're all very, very useful. If I have to sell something, I'll sell, I guess, the power supply later, or the vestments. I could go BKB and sell the vestments. Do you think other good support players like Z-Freak or Seal Kid call any positions and moves? I actually don't know. That's something you could just ask Swindle if he's still around. Considering that Swindle's team had the best results in the last 2 years, I'd imagine that they like when you call positions, you usually do it as a team, but especially in the early stages of the game, or most stages of the game, the support can really do it. He can give them quite a bit of a boost. So here, we're already level 16, they're doing Kongor. We don't need to steal their experience. It would actually be more beneficial to the team if I go elsewhere. However, I'm going to stay somewhat close in case they go on them. Alright, so I'm going to unmute my team so that I know what they're planning now. I probably, you know, that's another thing about support, you know, you should always communicate with your team, but I muted them just for the sake of the educational at this point. So here, I can be greedy and go for a staff.
I do as you say.
Yeah, he's pretty dead.
Invisibility. Victory.
And that's the game there.
What ails?
So we noticed. Personally, I noticed the things I could improve upon on that game. Not using Maledict, better judgment in team fights on who to use it on, and I think our positioning was fairly good. We didn't die a whole lot or anything. One time we did die, we were baiting the kills. I could have broken that off earlier as well. So mistake-wise, we made a few that are recognizable and easy to fix. You know, that's just kind of getting your stuff off in a fight sometimes. There's that pressure to do it, but when you have a Chronos, sometimes you can wait a little more, you know? So I thought we did fairly well there, for the most part. I think our item build was acceptable for the game. We could have interchanged that with Striders, but we may have died a couple more times in the fights, as you saw in the fights. One of the things I really hate about Striders is you get used to moving really fast, and then all of a sudden you're super slow. That affected me a little bit when they first came out. It doesn't affect me now at all. But it is just annoying. But so Striders may have helped us a little more there. Securing the farm for your carry is something you have to do as support. You really want an extra 2 wards up at the 6 to 8 minute mark. 9 is pushing it, because usually from 7 to 9 is when they want to kill that carry. Like, they're like, yo, this guy's free farming, someone do something, you know, so that's when people normally bitch about it. So that's usually when you want to get something done, or they want to get something done, is when that ward vision falls. They expect it to fall around the 8 minute mark, because people place it at 2 very often. So from, you know, the 6 to 8 minute mark, they'll try and go in there, or they'll test the waters and see if you have a ward. Now, one of the things you want to do when you're actually killing the safe lane carry is immediately get a counter ward and search for a lane ward. You have to do that. You might miss the lane ward because people will place it in different spots so that it doesn't get countered, or hope it doesn't get countered, but you still should do that. Because when people are asking for like a free farming carry who's like up 2 kills or whatever, and they want to get that carry killed before he finishes the game, like you can't really go kill him, because you risk just wiping your whole team on a bad gank very often, because you're just having your team run through ward vision, and then they're like, yo, someone want to kill these idiots coming up trying to kill our overfarmed carry? And then they're like, yeah, I'll do that, and then they just collapse on you and murder the whole game. So to that one guy who's always like, this guy's free farming, I'm gonna leave or something if nobody gets up here, you know, to him it's just like, look, we're all sorry we stuck you in the shit lane. However, we can't do anything about it right now, so we're sorry. You often have to go gank him as a team and get like a tower out of it, but if you don't have the lineup for it, you can't do it. So it really depends. It really